Hi besties, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel and welcome to my book haul. Today we are going to talk about the books that I've acquired over the last few months, the newest family members, the newest additions to my collection. I'm very excited. I have a lot of special editions. I have an entire series where I haven't even read the first book, but I had to buy the entire series because it's kind of iconic. We will discuss that later. And of course, a lot of fantasy romance. So let's get into it. I have about like 30 books to show you guys, and I'm really excited to talk through them with you all. So let's do it. So first up, I have two books. They're the last two books in a series, Zodiac Academy books 8 and 9. So we have Sorrow in Starlight, and then we have Restless Stars. So I did vlog my reading experience with these books. I have finished the series, which is so crazy because I've been reading the series for like 2 years. And what an ending, in good ways and in bad ways. I think that the ending of book 9, so like the ending of the series, was so great and wonderful and just like really rounded out the series in a good way. But these last two books are probably my least favorite in the series. However, I do have such a fondness for these characters and this world as a whole. So really happy that I read these and really happy to have these two books to add to my shelves. Speaking of finales, we have Goldfinch by Raven Kennedy. So this is the final book in the Plated Prisoner series. I am reading the entire series and I am vlogging it. I am currently on Glow, which is book 4, so I still have a ways to go, but I can't believe that I'm holding the final book in this series. I really have connected to these characters, and seeing their stories ending, it makes me emotional to even think about it. I am very, very attached to them. So I hope that Goldfinch is absolutely incredible and a really satisfying finale. I have a duology by C.M. Crawford. So we have Frost and Ambrosia. This is a fae fantasy romance, and it has a kind of like bachelor style competition in it. And the first book, Frost, was really great. I gave it 4 stars. I had so much fun with this book. The second book, Ambrosia, was a bit of a letdown. I gave it 2 stars. Not quite as good as book 1, but I still had a really great time. No regrets. I really want to read more by this author. I feel like C.M. Crawford has so many books. I particularly want to pick up Avalon Tower. I have heard really good things about that book. I've also seen it compared to Fourth Wing, which is interesting. So if you have read Avalon Tower, I want to know your thoughts on it. I feel like that's a book by this author that I've just seen a lot of buzz about. All right, let's do our contemporary romances. I only have 2. The first one is Best Hex Ever by Nadia L. Fossey. So I actually just finished this book and it was very cute. It is a witchy rom-com. Our main character is a witch and she has a hex put on her where any relationship that she has, something bad is going to happen to the person she's in a relationship with. So this obviously prevents her from having success in love. In this book, she meets Scott, who is this very like nerdy, sexy museum curator. I am obsessed with him, and they fall for each other pretty quickly. But of course, our main character Dina is very nervous about the safety of Scott because she knows that anyone who comes around her who has feelings for her is in danger. This book was very cute. I mean, this isn't my wrap up. I'll go into more detail in my wrap up. It was very cute. I gave it 3 stars. It didn't like emotionally move me in the way that, you know, a 4 or 5 star book would, but it was very cute and well written and like a fun witchy book for October. Then I have Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is book 2 in the Rose Hill Ranch series. This book is my favorite in the series so far. We only have 2 books out, but I did really like Wild Love, but this is just a little bit better to me. I really connected to our main character Skylar. Some of her anxiety and just like her personality traits I can definitely relate to. And then West Beaumont is giving some of my favorite Elsie Silver men a run for their money. West is an amazing single dad and such a good friend to Skylar, and just their dynamic is so good and so well written. Elsie Silver just continues to be an auto-buy author for me. All right, back to fantasy. I have Glass and Feathers by Lissa Sloan. So I heard about this book on Instagram. This is a continuation of Cinderella. So what happens after the happily ever after? And I really don't think that I've read any Cinderella retellings or continuations. I guess technically, I've heard that Throne of Glass is technically considered a Cinderella retelling, which like doesn't make any sense in my brain, but I have seen. I think that it was originally marketed as a Cinderella retelling. I'm not sure. So I guess my favorite series of all time is a Cinderella retelling. So who knows, maybe I'm gonna have a lot of luck with this book. But I think the idea of exploring what happens after the traditional fairy tale can be really interesting. Such a cool thing for an author to explore. So I'm excited for this. Another fairy tale retelling is Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it is also a reverse harem. So our main character does have have multiple love interests, and the start of the book is very similar to the traditional Beauty and the Beast. Our main character's father goes missing. She starts searching for him through the woods. She falls into a Fae realm and finds that her father is prisoner in a Fae castle. She exchanges herself for her father's freedom and quickly gets to know the 4 princes who live in this castle. This book was actually very, very fun. I'm not a huge reverse harem person, but I really liked all of our characters. I feel like the authors did a good job at distinguishing them all, and I feel like the romance development was really well done. We didn't get everything in this book. I mean, there's gonna be 7 books in this series apparently, so I'm glad that we didn't get everything in book 1, but I thought it was just a very fun time and a really great Beauty and the Beast retelling. The next book a part of my haul is The Wraith King by Juliet Cross. This is a dark, kind of gothic fantasy romance. I am currently reading this book, coming in a vlog to you very soon, and I am just obsessed with this cover. I saw this, I want to say in December of last year, and like, this is just so gorgeous. This is just like a perfect dark fantasy romance cover. I love the art style. I feel like it depicts the vibe of the book very well, and I'm just so obsessed with it. Next, I have books 2 and 3 in the This Woven Kingdom series by Tahera Mafi. So I have These Infinite Threads and then All This Twisted Glory. So I have read book 2. It was amazing. 5 stars, literally just so good. I haven't picked up book 3 yet. I'm going to soon, but we have no news on when book 4 is coming out. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen anything at least, and I don't want to be done with this series. I don't want to have anything to like not know about, don't know what to look forward to. So I really hope that we get book 4 news soon, because this series is truly becoming one of my favorites. It is such a well-written and amazing YA fantasy. It is a Persian fantasy. We have a little bit of a love triangle, which usually I'm not the biggest fan of, but this is like the love triangle of all love triangles, and just amazing writing, super fun side characters. Like, everything about this series really works for me. So I am excited to pick up book 3, but I would really love some news on book 4 as well. The next book is A Touch of Gold and Madness by K.L. DeVore. This book is a fantasy romance, and it's a bit of a dystopian, post-apocalyptic fantasy romance, and it was just so cool and so unique from a lot of the fantasy romances that I read. The world and magic system and attention to detail was just so great, and the ending of this book was insane. Like, truly insane, truly just flipped everything that we knew on its head, recontextualized the whole book, and the author actually has a prequel coming out in November, which gives a lot of backstory to like how we ended up here. I'm so excited for that book. Definitely want to get to it shortly after it comes out, but this book was a ton of fun. Cannot recommend enough. Another truly insane book that I have purchased recently is Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. So I did also do a vlog for this book if you want to see more thoughts on it, but this book was insane in the best way. I am honestly scared of Rachel Schneider because that ending was diabolical in the best way possible. I was so shocked, and once again, just such a fun reading experience. I felt so sucked into the story right away. This book is very fast paced, there's a lot going on, and I just think it's such a strong start to what I think is going to be a duology or a trilogy, I'm not sure, but I love the characters, I love the world. The plot twists were insane, and truly there's plot twists throughout the entire book. It's pretty crazy. Really cannot recommend enough if you want to have your mind blown and your heart ripped out and put back together, and then I don't even know what feeling you're gonna be left with once you finish this, but I love this book. I thought it was so much fun, and very happy to own a physical copy of it. The next 2 books are books 1 and 2 in what I think is my favorite dark fantasy romance series of all time. I mean, there's only 2 books out, but they are that good, and I am that obsessed with them, and they live in my head rent-free, so I think I'm comfortable saying that. It's my favorite. So we have Reign of Shadow and Endings, and then Storm of Secrets and Sorrow by Melissa K. Rorick. This is the Legacy series. It is a dark fae fantasy romance series, and it's incredible. Like, I don't even know how to talk about the series, honestly, because so much goes on, and it's wild, it's multi-POV, and the magic system is incredible. The world building and like the lore and the history is insane. It is connected to the Lady of Darkness series if you've read that, and it's just so great. Melissa K. Rorick is very quickly becoming one of my favorite authors of all time. She is definitely right up there with Sarah J. Maas and Carissa Broadbent as like favorite fantasy romance authors. She is just so talented talented. I feel like this series in particular is like the best of her. She's so fantastic. So can't really say enough good things about this series. I do have the hardcovers and they are signed by the author, which is very exciting. So the series that I purchased without having read a singular book in the series, but I am putting that much faith into it. I'm honestly really excited about this. A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I am giving Gus from Cinderella right now with this stack. If you get it, you get it. Game of Thrones, of course. I want to read the series that of course inspired the Game of Thrones TV show, which I actually never finished. So my hope is to read the A Song of Ice and Fire series and then watch the show. I don't think that this series is complete. I think that's kind of like the gag with the series, is that the author has not finished it, has not completed it, but this is what I like to call like a bucket list series for me. This is definitely a bucket list series. Lord of the Rings is a bucket list series. The Stormlight Archives as well. Just very iconic fantasy series that I really want to read and hopefully appreciate. I see obviously amazing reviews for these books, so I am hopeful that I will like them. I don't think that I will finish the entire series next year, but I would like to have a goal of in 2025 to read maybe 2 or 3 books in this series, as long as I am loving it and want to continue reading them. And then I want to rewatch and then finish the Game of Thrones TV series as well. All right, now let's get into some special editions that are very exciting and beautiful. First up, this is a heavy hitter. I pre-ordered this book so long ago, and when it showed up, I had forgot some of the details about this book, and it is truly like up there for one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen, I've ever had the honor and privilege of owning. Like, this book is Gorgina times a million. So this is The Witch Collector by Charissa Weeks. This is the first book in the series, and she is a star. Like, look at those edges. The back is super beautiful. It only gets better, you guys. Like, this book is so stunning. On the front, we have the map of this world. Back is amazing. And then the inside, the back end pages, so amazing. And then the reverse dust jacket is like, needs to be in the Louvre immediately. I love this. It's so just like fairy tale and beautiful. I'm going to keep the dust jacket as is because I find it very difficult to like actually reverse dust jackets and make it look good. And I just think that the outside is really pretty. But this is definitely one of the most beautiful editions of a book that I own, and I need to get back into the Witch Collector series. I read the first book and then I started City of Ruin, but I just put it down, not because I was disinterested, but I think I was just interested in other things. ADHD, what can I tell you? But also, I know that there was a delay with book 3 with this series, but recently the author has said that it is coming out, or it might already be out, or it's coming out very soon. I don't know. But knowing that we have book 3 now and that is going to be coming out, I've just been thinking about the series more and I'm excited. So I honestly might want to do a reread of The Witch Collector and then go into City of Ruin, read the novella, which I think is called The Wolf and the Witch, and then pick up that newest book in this series. I did really like book 1. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm excited to revisit the series and hopefully fall in love with the whole thing. This next book is the Fairy Loot Adult Romantasy subscription pick, and this is The Half King by Melissa Landers. I really don't know a whole lot about this book, but I love this edition. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Let me take off the dust jacket here. Really beautiful naked hardcover, and the end page art is so pretty. Also the back as well. I am obsessed. So I'm excited. It's a fantasy romance and the art style looks really cool. I hope that I like it. I haven't had too much luck with Fairy Loot's romantasy picks, but I am holding out hope. I want to give this book a shot. If you've read this, let me know. I feel like I haven't heard too much about this book, but I am definitely curious about it. And then the final 2 books are 2 copies of the same book. One of my favorite books of all time, but I simply had to have both. So the first is the US edition of When the Moon Hatched. It has now been traditionally published, of course. So I wanted to get the US hardcover because I figure when book 2 comes out next year, I will buy the US hardcover edition. So I wanted one that matched. But this is, well, it's not like a super special edition. It is pretty gorgeous. And once again, the end pages are just beautiful. And I feel like this perfectly encapsulates this book. I love this book so much. I haven't read, I think, anything that beats this for my top book of the year. We do have, you know, like a month and a half-ish left until I'm gonna be filming my best books of the year video, but this book definitely stands out. I think it is literal perfection and I love it so much. All right, and then the final book, a part of my book haul, is another edition of When the Moon Hatched, but like I had to have this edition, you guys. It is the Fairy Loot edition, and I think this might be my favorite Fairy Loot edition of any book I've ever received. They absolutely killed it. This book is so beautiful. I will cherish it forever. I love all the details. Here's the naked hardcover, end pages once again, like amazing. Such an amazing dragon fantasy romance. Like I cannot speak enough about it. So beautiful. So I will cherish this edition for the rest of my life. Honestly, bury me with this edition because it is just to die for. All right, my beautiful friends, that is going to be it for this book haul. If you made it to this point in the video and you wanted to let me know, go ahead and leave the book stack emoji. Please make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Goodreads. They are always linked down below. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I love you all so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.